All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful that got there pushing his word of truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into, with this lesson is dealing with, let the wickedness, or the wicked come to an end. And this lesson is, inspired by a precept in the book of Psalms, 7th to 9th chapter, because as we, grow in this truth, in our understanding, as we begin to appreciate righteousness, we began, to appreciate and have an expectation, for the promises, of the scriptures. And we know, that this devil has to be removed from power, and we know that there's only one way, for righteousness, for peace, for the earth to flourish, for us to come into the promises and the blessings and the rewards, of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, is Esau Edom has to be stopped. There's no solution, to what's going on that doesn't involve Esau Edom being stopped, man. This nigga is a problem of the planet Earth. He is the problem. Every problem of the planet Earth stems from this man's rulership. There's nothing happening that's a problem on the earth that can't be linked back to this nigga, man. So it's to the point now, it's just time for this nigga to be stopped, man. It's time for the Lord to just bring an end, and that's why things are speeding up. That's why things are being put in place that's going to bring a swift end to the kingdom of Esau Edom, the authority of Esau Edom, man. So when you go into the book of Psalms, chapter 7 and verse 9, it says, "Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just, for the righteous power trieth the hearts and reins." Yeah, so, this psalm, this is a psalm that's making a request of the wickedness of the wicked to come to an end, man. And that's our request daily, man. This nigga gotta go. It's time for Esau Edom to be removed from power, man. As people have all these long debates about what needs to be done, and let's try this, and let's implement this, and let's less taxes, and no. It's way beyond some goddamn taxes, man. It's way beyond the Democrat Republic, and which all this is a sham. It's way beyond, capitalism and whatever you can think of. No, this nigga has to go, man. This nigga rulership has to end. Everything that this man has established needs to be destroyed, and this man needs to be put in chains, man. For 1,000 years and then exterminated, man. That's the solution. Anything less than that is insufficient, man. So it says, beginning, it says, "Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end." And you read this in the book of Psalms 94. As our forefathers, they would often request, the end of Esau Edom. And then you had going to the time of King David, and Joab, his general, his nephew. They were trying to put an end to them devils, man. They tried to kill every male in Edom. But it wasn't their time. When you go into the era of King David, and like I say, Joab, his nephew, they were trying to get that nigga out of there, man. They were trying to cut that lineage off, man. But the Lord's going to allow us to finally do it. Remove this nigga from power. And after 1,000 years, finally cut that lineage out the earth, man. Which is necessary. Not a suggestion. Not a preference. No, that's necessary to get this nigga out the earth, man. It goes to Psalms 94 and 1, says, "O Lord, power. O Lord, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, power. to whom vengeance belongeth. O power, to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself, and it's the Lord's vengeance. And that's why we know it's not on us to avenge ourselves, man. You know? No, we need a higher power. Okay? To accomplish what needs to be done dealing with Esau, where it's going to take a higher power. You know, the Lord didn't put that in our hands. Okay? No, it's going to be his vengeance. Okay? At the second coming of Yahweh. You know? It's going to remove this man completely from power in the earth. Okay? And put this man in captivity. Yahweh has the power to do that. Okay? More than enough power to do that. And it says, lift up thyself, thou judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. So this is a request. Okay? That the Lord, you know, the judge of the earth, the true judge of the earth. You know, because judgment doesn't start with Esau. No, there's a high authority way above Esau. And that's who we making our petition to. You see, you still have our people crying to Esau, you know, marching, protesting, rioting, and this and that. Okay? Well, you're appealing to the wrong one. See, we appeal to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, someone who has the power to do something, man. Esau's not going to judge himself in his own kingdom. Okay? That's super stupid, you know, to think that this devil, alright, is going to judge himself in his own kingdom. No, man. Okay? He's going to continue to do what he wants till a higher power intervenes, man. Okay? And puts a stop to the madness. You see? So, reading verse 3 says, Lord, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long can these niggas be in power, man? How long these niggas are able to just, you know, do wickedness, man, unchecked. And then get on TV and blame everybody else, man. This man does complete wickedness. This man, he poisons everything. You got forever chemicals. He's destroying the water. He's destroying the climate. He's destroying, you know, he's destroyed families, man. He done created, you know, a violent atmosphere. Drugs, guns. You see? Constant war every goddamn way, man. Alright? This man is completely destroyed, okay, life on earth, man. You know? And he's steady running the earth to the ground with pollution. Then he made people take the juice. With that, he turned the earth to a global death camp. Okay? But then to get on TV and say, oh, you anti-Semitic. Like, what? This nigga is actually unaliving masses of people systematically. Okay? Nigga have a commercial about it. You read about what Ozempic does to you, and it's just one example. Okay? When you read about what's happening with these people that's on Ozempic, and these niggas got a commercial. Okay? This nigga can literally destroy you and make a commercial about it and package it and sell it to you. Okay? Destruction in the pill form. Okay? So it's like, how long is this nigga gonna be able to triumph, man? You see? And that's a spirit. Okay? That we're in, man. We're tired of the triumph of Esau, man. Okay? Verse 4 says, how long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves, man? This is what Esau Edom is doing. He's boasting himself in his wickedness, man. Always talking about what he's going to do next, man. Okay? What type of wickedness he got lined up next, man. Okay? It says, they break in pieces thy people, O Lord, and afflict thine heritage. They slay the widow and stranger and murder the fatherless. Yet they say the Lord shall not see, neither shall the power of Jacob regard it. Okay, and this devil been moving as if we don't have a power. You know, our power, you know, abandoned us for our disobedience. Okay? There was a time, you know, the Lord gave us into his hand, and Esau, in his mind, like said, I can have my way with them forever. Okay? And that's why The Most High, he threw Esau off when he raised up the prophets, started back to deal with his people again. Okay? Because this devil for so long, he's been able to have his way, and he had there was nothing that was hindering this man. But now, through the Spirit, you see, the Lord has lifted a standard in the Spirit. There's a resistance to what this devil has going on in the Spirit. You see? So when you keep reading, it says, understand ye brutish among the people, and ye fools, when will you be wise? And this is speaking to Esau. You goddamn dummy. Okay? You thought the Lord was going to just let you have your way with his people forever? Because the Lord, he was angry for a moment. Okay? But at a point in time, he began to hear the cry of his people through the teaching of Yahushua, because the teaching of Yahushua, okay, that's what's reconciling a remnant back to our power. Okay, and now we're seeing our power begin to act on our behalf, man. Okay, and you Edomites are done. You see, it says, he that planted the ear, shall he not hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? He that chastened the heathen, shall he not correct? He that teacheth, all right, he that teacheth man knowledge, shall he not know? Okay? And this devil just been moving around as if, the Most High is just oblivious to his wickedness and what he got going on. Nah, man, the Lord is finna intervene, man. The Lord is finna get hands on with you Edomites, man. Beginning with your ruling elite, Amalek. Okay? Now, the Lord is heavily invested in the destruction of this wicked kingdom. And it's becoming more evident by the day as the Lord is causing with certain things to happen back to back to back. Okay? Now when you go here, because when you go to Psalm 79 again, then we're going to go to Isaiah 9 and 6. So when you go to Psalms 79, all right, it says, oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just, for the righteous power tried the hearts and reigns. Now when you go to Isaiah, what's going to bring an end to the wicked? This war. Okay? But then it says establish the just. So when you go to Isaiah 9 and 5, it said, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And it's speaking of World War III. Because that's the end of Esau's kingdom, is World War III. Okay? And this is why we, tap into, these prophecies dealing with the MOTB and the war. Because these prophecies are going to end Esau's kingdom. It's going to end his authority in the earth. Okay, this war. And then when you read on in Isaiah, it immediately goes into what? The righteous being established. Okay, because this third world war is going to be burning with fuel of fire, these ICBM missiles. Okay, not the ancient warfare, hand to hand, sword and, big armies meeting up in the middle of a big field. Okay? Nah, man, this war here is going to be fought with missiles, man. Okay? The climax of this war is going to be missiles, okay, with burning fuel of fire. And it's going to put an end to Esau's kingdom. Okay? And establish a righteous. That's why right after Isaiah 9 and 5, what do you have? For unto us a child is born, Yahushua. Unto us a son is given. So unto us, the nation of Israel, there was a child born, which is Yahushua. Okay? It says, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. And these are the titles of Yahushua. Okay? And this is whom all right, the Lord is going to establish the righteous forever. Okay, under, all right, Yahushua. Establishing the throne of David in the earth, man. Okay, verse 7, of the increase, it said, of the increase of his government, all right, in peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and justice from henceforth, even forever. So his peace, okay, should not have an end. His reign should not have an end. Okay, so we're in the transition into an everlasting government, man. You know, the Lord has given us the opportunity to serve even before that kingdom is established, man. You know, to play our part, all right, and what the Lord is doing towards the end of Esau's kingdom, man. The Lord is doing a mighty work, man, and we're privileged to play a part in it, man. Okay, and through Yahweh Shai, the wickedness of the wicked will be ended. Okay, and the righteousness the righteous, the nation of Israel, beginning with the remnant of the 12 tribes, will be established forever, man, under this throne. Okay, and it says, and upon his kingdom to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth. Okay, for even forever, even forever, the zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this, man. So it's the Lord's zeal, you know, to see wickedness come to an end, okay, and to establish righteousness forever under his son, Yahweh Shai. Okay, the first fruits and the rest of the elect men, women, and children, man. Okay, righteousness will be established forever. So that's the point, you know, just wanted to get into that, you know, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters edified. Once again, want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation, hopeful, like Shalom.